So we have seen the different excretory organs in among different organisms. Now let's see the relationship between the excretory products, so excretory wastes, and the habitat. Okay? And see if there is that relationship. Why shouldn't we all excrete ammonia? Why shouldn't we all excrete urea? But why should this one excrete this and this excrete that and stuff like that? Okay? Yes. So now, so the nature of nitrogenous waste and the mode of excretion, by the way, also varies from organism to organism to organism depending on the habitat of that organism. Where the organism lives, it determines the type of excretory product and the mode of excretion an organism is going to give. And so what factors affect? It is how easily that organism can obtain water. Are you an aquatic organism? Are you a terrestrial organism? And if you are an aquatic organism, which aquatic environment do you inhabit? For example, are you a freshwater body organism? Are you a marine organism? Or if you are terrestrial, are you a desert organism? Or you are a tropic or tropical organ? So depending on the nature of your habitat, it will determine the type of your excretory product and the mode of excretion. And so we have different types, and each type of a nitrogenous waste requires different need of water. For example, we have ammonia, we have urea, we have uric acid as our major three excretory products. But we also have others. But ammonia, for instance, it is highly toxic, it can alter the pH, and it requires large amounts of water to be dissolved. But uric acid, it is less soluble, okay, non-toxic at all, and requires little or no water to be excreted out of the organs. So, basing on this relationship, can you determine which excretory product an organism is going to release in which habitat? If you are a terrestrial organism, what are you going to release? But still, a desert organism and a tropical organism, they release different products depending on the need of water. So nitrogenous wastes are produced by breakdown of proteins, nucleic acids, and excess amino acids. Yes, those are the only ways of producing nitrogen, of having nitrogen in our bodies. The proteins, different proteins that we have in our bodies, nucleic acids, we have. Today in the morning I was teaching nucleic acids, DNA, and we saw that they are made up of organic bases, nitrogenous bases, that's nitrogen, and excess amino acids. So you cannot do away with these proteins, but still we need the proteins, yes, but our bodies don't store proteins. So yes, you consume what is required, the excess, okay, is going to be released. It must be released outside your body, and it will be released in form of ammonia, these nitrogenous wastes. Okay, so let's have a look at different nitrogenous wastes that we have. So we have excretory product, the nature, the habitat, and the animal. So for number one, we have urea. Now this is a nitrogenous waste. It contains nitrogen and it is excreted by terrestrial organisms, but to be specific, not all, those that live in tropics. Okay. Yes, water is a challenge as far as living in terrestrial organisms is concerned, but not as a challenge as the desert animals. They are organisms that need to conserve too much water. They need to conserve water than others. Okay? So those ones, you don't expect them to excrete your urea. But others, such as mammals, e.g. you, e.g. man, okay? Uh-huh. Name them. They do excrete urea. Because they need to conserve water, but the need is not that much. Then you have ammonia as ammonia. So we have ammonia as ammonia. Now, like we say, this one is highly toxic, highly soluble, and so it requires large volumes of water. So you expect aquatic organisms, but not all aquatic, those freshwater organisms, where water is actually a challenge. They are the ones that will release ammonia, so that as you are excreting ammonia, it is excreted along with much water. So it's like hitting two birds with one stone. You are removing the nitrogenous waste, but also you are removing, you are excreting a lot of water. Then you have uric acid. Now this one is also a nitrogenous waste, and it is secreted by terrestrial organisms such as birds and insects. Now these organisms, they really need to conserve water. Conserve water. You can rear a chicken and spend a year, month without giving them water, and the birds survive and the chickens survive, though it will be non-health. It will not be that good. Why? Because these birds, together with insects, they do excrete the uric acid that conserves enough water in our bodies. Then we have guanines. Now these are broken down from nitrogenous bases. You break down nitrogenous bases and produce guanine, and you release it out of the body by terrestrial organisms such as spiders and and I think penguins. They also do release these guanines. Then we have trimethyl amine oxide. Sorry. We have trimethyl amine oxide. Now this one, it is also a non-toxic and less soluble, okay, in water compared to ammonia. Now this one, it is also a nitrogenous waste. However, it doesn't require a lot of water to be excreted out of. our bodies. And so because of this, they are released out by these marine bony fish. Marine, where the salt concentration is higher than the internal environment. So water is a challenge there. Water is a challenge. There is a high need of conserving some water. So if you excrete ammonia and water is a challenge, then so to conserve some water, then these organisms, they do excrete trimethylamine oxide. And we shall study, or we shall see all this. We shall study marine fish and freshwater fish and see how all these organisms are able to survive. And then we study migratory fish, those which are able to live in both the marine environment and the freshwater environment. So we shall really appreciate the need of having these excretory products, like these different nitrogenous wastes. Then non-nitrogenous wastes, we have carbon dioxide, we have oxygen, we have excess water, bile. These are non-nitrogenous wastes. They don't contain nitrogen. So they are released by mammals, birds, and protozoans because they don't need the carbon dioxide. Oxygen, they are released by plants. That is if photosynthesis is high. Excess water, we all release excess water because we all must maintain everything constant. So water too, inclusive amino acids. Then we have biopigments, that is bilirubin and biliverdin. These are also non-nitrogenous wastes. They are formed by breakdown of fatty acids, fats, or cholesterol within the liver. We studied the formation of bile. Okay? And they are released by terrestrial mammals too. And that's a diverse range. But the concept is basing on the environment, basing on the habitat of a given animal, it will determine the nature and the mode of nitrogenous waste.